Man, I think it's time that we just admit the Milwaukee Bucks suck. The Milwaukee Bucks really suck. And I don't even think their players suck. I think as a franchise, they got lucky. I think it's safe to say it, they got lucky. They got very lucky that they drafted Giannis Antetokounmpo in the 2013 NBA draft, because that and trading for Chris Middleton and seemed to be some of the very few good things that this team has done. Again, you almost had Bojan Bogdanovic, and you got yourself, you got yourself in a bad old pickle when he couldn't go because you tampered. And then now you've gone and given arguably the best player in all of basketball. You've given him Glenn. I'm sorry, Giannis does not deserve to have his, not even legacy, but the tail end of his prime. He does not deserve to have the tail end of his prime playing for Glenn. If you want to look at the playoffs, the East, you make the playoffs with a below 500 record right now in the East. Milwaukee are the 12th seed. They're 4-9. You know who their wins have come against? Their wins have come against the Sixers, the 2-10 Sixers, the 2-12 Raptors, the 3-9 Utah Jazz, and in overtime against the Detroit Pistons, who are 6-8. And either way, it's the Pistons. It's the Pistons. It's the Pistons. That's all I'm going to say is they're the only teams they have beat. The Pistons. And I mean that. The Pistons are the best team they beat this year. But Giannis Antetokounmpo himself is hooping. So you look at Milwaukee. Oh, they're 20 in points per game, 14 to rebounds, 26 in assists. Oh, maybe Giannis isn't having the greatest time. Giannis Antetokounmpo is averaging 32-12 with 6 assists a game. He is averaging 32-12 with 6 assists a game. That is what Giannis Antetokounmpo is averaging. You've got a team now where Dame... Look, I'm sorry, Damian Lillard is 35 years old at the end of the season. And he's a 34-year-old scorer. And I get it, he hasn't played in a week. But, his points are fine. The team's not doing anything with him. And then Chris Middleton has not played this year. You are so lucky you're in the East. That's all I'm going to say. Is you will be almost out of the playoff race if the Milwaukee Bucks were in the West. To be fair, play-in race, fair enough. There's a lot of teams in that play-in race. But, you're what? You're 9.5 games off the Celtics. Or say off the Cavs. You are, through 13 games of the season, 9.5 games off first. A lot of people thought you were going to be a top 3 seed. Okay. Spilled some crumbs there. But a lot of people thought you were going to be a top 3 seed in the conference. And you not only aren't a top 3 seed, you are near the bottom. You are absolutely near the bottom. Giannis does not deserve to have the tail end of his prime be at a team that sucks. And Milwaukee, go and tank. You're going to be screwed. Go and trade Giannis for a bunch of picks. Go and tank. You're not going to tank properly, because if you want to look at their draft picks, yeah, they've drafted Marjan Beauchamp. Obviously they gave up quite a few picks for Drew Holiday, and I think they gave up picks for Dame as well. So I don't think they have that many picks, but it's you play out the end of the season, play out Giannis till the end of the season, and then as soon as the season's done, just trade him. Just trade him. At this stage, you're bad enough that it's it's just unfair to the best player in your franchise history. Giannis, and by the way, yes, for the Milwaukee Bucks, Giannis was a better player than Kareem Abdul-Jabbar. Kareem Abdul-Jabbar is the better player, but Milwaukee Bucks are without question Giannis has been the best player for that franchise. Not the best player to ever play for them, but the best player for them. Because again, a lot of Kareem's prime was with the Lakers, kind of split his prime. Either way, it's just sad to see Giannis going out It's not sad to see Giannis going out it's sad to see Giannis not being able to compete, because he's at his best. Like this version of Giannis that's hitting pull-ups. This version of Giannis is like as good as any version of Giannis. And this version of Giannis is like easily, and I mean easily, a top 3 player in the world. Like I think you probably 2. It's Jokic 1, and Jokic is on an island by himself. And then, especially with the way the season's starting, give me Giannis over Luka. And like I am like the Luka fanboy. Like let's not forget, I am the guy who made the is Luka Doncic who made the first viral Luka Doncic video on all of YouTube. Like let's not forget, I am also BBALL Daily. Is Luka Doncic the best NBA prospect we've seen since LeBron James? If you're wondering why LeVar Ball came up there, the video was talking about all people were talking about is the Ball brothers, but in fact Luka is the real guy. This was me. This was me back 7 years ago. This was young Mick Curley. But like, we've now got Giannis, who I think is clearly better than Luka at this point in time. And if you were to ask me if there was a fantasy draft, I would say he's probably number 2. Actually, well, no. If there's a fantasy draft win this year, he'd be number 2. But the team is just so poor around them. They're so poor around them. And then the problem is that the Milwaukee Bucks closed their window by giving Jrue Holiday to the Celtics. Like, the Celtics are better than them. The Celtics are younger than them. The Celtics are better than them. They're not going to beat Boston. And you've also now got a situation where Milwaukee aren't going to be that good in the present. They've got no future. They've got to just trade him. You've got to just trade him. It's unfair to Giannis to keep him there. It is completely unfair to Giannis Antetokounmpo. I get it. He's been a member of the Milwaukee Bucks for his entire career. He's not going to be a one. There is some loyalty there, but I don't think it's a crazy amount of loyalty. But Milwaukee, just let him walk. Just let him go. Just free him. Just let him walk. It's all good. It is completely fine. Let him go. And by let him walk, I mean you get like 4 or 5 first-round picks for him. But you might get one of the biggest trade hauls of all time because the guy's like, 29 years old? 30 soon-ish, I think. He's still got 4 to 5 years. He's still in unbelievable shape. And in fairness, for Milwaukee, he's been injured the last 2 playoffs. So, like, there's no guarantee he plays that, but he's still got that unbelievable trade value. So, yeah, if I'm Milwaukee, you've got to move off Giannis. For his sake, for the league's sake, for your sake, it helps every party involved. Because as soon as you hired Glenn, it was over. The Giannis era ended. As bad as it was when you gave Celtics Jrue, that pretty much ended it. But it fully ended when you gave Giannis Glenn. So anyway, yeah, that's the video.